What is the best way to hold a camera? Hey, this is Scott Wyden. I want to do a quick video on holding a camera because too often I'm seeing photographers that are going like this and they're using their screen while doing longer exposures or doing portraits without a flash, mind you, and just sort of gunning it, just trying to wing it with how they're holding their camera, not really thinking about their stance, not really thinking about keeping the camera steady, and just only relying on either no stabilization at all, no tripod, or maybe they're just relying on, a lens stabilizer, or maybe in camera a sensor stabilizer. I don't really know. But I want to show you really the proper way to hold a camera, and then some advice if you don't agree or like the way that you're supposed to hold the camera. Now, first of all, if you're using your camera and you're doing it, landscape, right, the normal default way the camera is meant to be held, you want your elbows to be tucked, sort of like this. You want them to be tucked, and you want your hands to bring it up to your eye. Okay? That is going to keep your camera as steady as possible. You're kind of using your torso as your stabilizer, because this way you're going to have very little shake. You also want your legs to be shoulder width apart or sort of 1 foot back, because that will also give you additional stabilization of your stance of how you're holding the camera beyond just what your arms and your elbows can do for you. Now, imagine you were about to do a portrait photograph, right? Now, portrait, typically, you see people go like this, with the shutter button up here. And what happens when you do that is you can still have this arm tucked, but now this arm's all the way out here. And now, yes, you have a little bit of stabilization, which is still good, mind you, but you're losing all the stabilization from this arm. So really what you should be doing is going like this, right? And now your shutter button's down here. And then you look through and you make your photo. Now, I understand. I totally get it. It's awkward. Going like this is awkward. I completely get it. That is the only way to stabilize your photo, to stabilize your camera, to stabilize the image you're about to make the proper way. Going like this is odd, but it's the right way. If you don't like this idea, and I totally get it, like I just said, I totally get it. If you don't like that method, then my recommendation is actually to get a vertical grip. What that will do is that will actually give you, I don't have one because I don't use them, but that'll give you extra grip out here, right? It'll extend your camera to be a little bit taller. And typically a vertical grip gives you a button up top. So what can happen then is now you can turn the camera this way and still have your button up here. So you're holding it like this and your arms are still stabilized. So imagine I got a vertical grip, I'd be looking like this and I'm still stabilized. It's a lot more comfortable to do this than it is to do this. If you need that additional stabilization, if you need to adjust your vertical holding, then that is what I would do, because it is awkward to hold it the other way. I totally get it. I really do. The next part I want to talk to you about, well, first of all, you notice I'm using a little leash right here. It's from Peak Design. I love wrist straps a lot more than neck straps. I love being free. And I'm still trying to determine if I like the Peak Design Pro Clip better than the Spider holster. I can't make up my mind. They're very different, but they're very similar. And right now I don't have either of them on. All I have is the wrist strap, which I'm still not really a fan of the leash style wrist strap. But I can't find a good wrist strap to fit the Nikon DF in a good way. Anyway, so the next part I want to talk to you about, besides the arms, is how to actually hold your camera and your lens, right? So, too often I'm seeing people hold it like this. That is a weird way to hold a lens. That is not going to keep you steady, and it means your elbows are now further away. It's harder to keep them tucked. You want your fingers to sort of be under your zoom and focus, right? Right now, I can zoom holding it this way. I'm steady, And I can zoom and focus at the same time. Look at this. I'm zooming and focusing at the same time by using thumb and pointer finger on the zoom right there. And then my middle finger is on the focus ring. I can do them both at the same time. That is the right way to hold to hold the lens, in place, is to make sure that you've got a good grip on the lens and your fingers are able to maneuver what needs to be maneuvered. And if you notice, as I'm doing this, let me move this way. As I'm doing this, I also have the lens and the body sitting on my wrist and sitting on my hand. Just sitting there. And I can still do everything I need to do. And it's all steady. It's all steady. So imagine, I'm going like that, I'm composing, I'm focusing right now, and click. Photo done. I'm not going like this. It's not awkward. It's not going to make my camera be all like wiggly wobbly. I am steady. I am the tripod. I am Zen. Get your stance right, hold your camera correct, and really, if you don't like the vertical way of the correct vertical way to hold your camera, then get a grip on it, pun intended.